So, old PL9 bulb. I've had it in an outside light, dusk till dawn, 7 years, just under. A couple of months, it would have been 7 years. It finally broke last night. It started flashing. These have a little starter in them, so I don't need a starter. I was going to over voltage it until I realised it had a starter in it. I'm just using a light bulb as a ballast. So this is rated at 9 watts. So I've got an old analog voltmeter here, and a current meter. This will be negative impedance, so it's interesting to see how different values of ballast bulb will affect how much power it draws. So got the isolation transformer on as well. So it's struck up, drawing about 1/4 amp at 60 volts. So that'll be 12, and then for about 18 watts. Drawing about 18 watts. As it warms up, the voltage across it will rise slightly because it becomes harder for it to maintain a discharge in a higher pressure, and as it warms up the pressure, and it will increase. So yeah, voltage now is coming up on 85 volts. It's still slowly creeping up. So yeah, that then soon becomes 16, and then another 4, so about 20 watts or so. Off the top of my head, if it goes up to 100 volts, that'll be 25 watts. Oh, it's climbing. Whee, is it climbing? Look at that. Oh, now it's, woo. Hey. Is that this meter? Is that, no, I think that is the bulb. Just make sure we've got a good, yeah. See, obviously that little bit of erraticness is some dodgy connection in this meter. I think, whoa, what's going on there? Is that really what's happening? Obviously. Let me just pause a moment. Right, let's try that again with some slightly better connections. Whoa, that's flowing up. 150 volts nearly, yeah, and you can see it's struggling to maintain an arc. Yeah, no, it is the bulb, because this is flickering and changing brightness and doing some strange things. It's the bulb. I should say any minute now it's going to go out. I should say that's what's going to happen. Like, have you ever seen a fluorescent flail? They become very flickery. They rectify the voltage. They can pass current either in one direction or the other, as the two cathodes. Well, basically the anodes and cathodes, they flip over. They're both cathodes essentially, but because it's an AC waveform, they have to alternate roles during the AC wave. And yeah, I'm actually getting a lot of UV emission and stuff there. Yeah, it's being well overdriven. Now voltage across it's plummeting. Yeah, it does not like that. Crikey, yeah, that's drawing, what's 20, and that's drawing about 30. It's a 9 watt bulb. When it goes up to like 150 volts, the current's staying pretty constant. 150 volt, that's drawing about 30 odd watts. And it smells burny, so there's only one thing to do: go up a size in bulb. Okay, so now I've changed it to a 105 watt bulb. Let's see what happens. Much higher current, over 1/3 of an amp. The voltage across it is actually lower. So it's the thing with a negative impedance gas discharge lantern. As the voltage across it goes up, the current through it has to go down. Or probably easier to explain it as the current across it goes up, the voltage across it decreases. So it's actually more stable now. This light's not flickering because it's got a higher current from the ballast. The amount of voltage needed to maintain the arc is lower. So it's maintaining the arc for a greater point in the main cycle. But you can see it's still warming up. Oh, that is, yeah. So that's 35 watts. It's a 9 watt bulb. When it hits 100 volts, that's 35 watts. The reason I go with the analog meter is because you can, if it's varying a lot, the digital one just keeps changing too much to read. So yeah, that's nearly dissipating 4 times as much power as it should. So that must mean normally it would probably be about 100 volts across it at, it turned like just 90 milliamps or something. No, 9 milliamps. Is that right? I don't know. 100 volts in amp is 100 watts. 100 milliamps is 10 watts. So 90 milliamps. Yeah, that's 350 milliamps. Yeah. Sorry, brain fart there. So that's actually gone quite stable. Right, I'm going to go with the, I've got 120 watt bulb. See what happens. Let's try the 120 watt bulb. Ooh, cycled on the starter there. higher current, 400 milliamps, 75 volts, so 7.5, 15. That's 30 watts. There's actually about the same power as before, just higher current. You know, it's even on the 77 watt bulb, it was drawing about 25 watts. Now it's only drawing about 30. Yeah, so but it nearly twice the current. But yeah, it's much more stable. I've got the isolation transformer. I could bypass the bulb altogether. I think it would just pop quickly. It's hot. It's very hot. Let's see what the old thermal camera reckons when it boots up. 130 odd degrees, that's saying. Oh, that was a real hot spot there. 190. Oh, it's climbing. Look, 196. For comparison, where are you? Incandescent is actually running cooler. Yeah, the incandescent's running quite cold. That is running very, very hot. Yeah, 250. Oh boy, that thing's kicking us. Yeah, thanks. There we go. So yeah, it's now reached a point where it stinks really bad. I don't want to get covered in red hot glass here. I might shut it down. Yeah, this is but yeah, it's slowly dying. Right, let me set something up. I've got a 300 watt halogen. Let me set that up and maybe vacate the room so I don't get covered in red hot glass. Okay, this is 300 watt halogen, and I'm not gonna. Ooh. So it's struck. Okay, I'm going to shut that down. That halogen is burning things. Let me reset that. Let's try that again. Ooh, the voltage across the bulb is at 240. Well, that's measured right at the bulb's terminals. No, I did a quick test flick before I started recording. It lit up for a second. I think it's just killed it. Yeah, I think it's dead. That's it then. Oh well, that didn't die very spectacularly, did it? Yeah, I've gone back to the dim bulb and... yeah, so... the halogen's actually still in the circuit, but it's in series with the dim bulb. Is she dead? Oh well. That's that then. It didn't know whatever it did on that halogen. I never really got a reading, but that's it. It's dead. So yeah, there you are. If you ever want one of these old, if you still got an old school Dusk Till Dawn light, I'd recommend these Philips ones because that lasted 7 years. That's got about 30,000 hours on it. So there you are. That was just a fun little experiment. That I don't know. Yeah, whatever. If you watch this, cheers.